Okay, let's dive right into this. At first glance, you might think it's just an entry form for a student art contest, right? Pretty simple. But what if I told you that this single piece of paper, well, it's actually the key to understanding a massive operation involving over 500,000 students? Yeah. Let's take a much closer look.
And boom, there's the number that just stops you in your tracks. 600,000. No, that is not a typo. We're talking about over 500,000 students, all part of this one contest. A number that huge, it immediately makes you ask, what on earth kind of art contest are we dealing with here?
So that's really the core question we're going to tackle. How do you even begin to organize something on this kind of scale? We're talking 4,000 schools, a global reach. What's the machinery behind it all? Let's find out.
All right, so to really understand this 500,000 student contest, the first thing we've got to do is look at the organization that's pulling all the strings.
So the whole thing is run by the Edu-Heal Foundation, or EHF for short. And get this, it turns out this art contest is really just the tip of the iceberg. They run 11 different competitive Olympiads. This is no small one-off event. It's part of a huge established network that connects 4,000 different schools.
Okay, so now we know who's behind it. But what's the official mission? What does the paperwork say this whole contest is trying to achieve?
Well, the mission statement is all about some pretty lofty ideals. It says the purpose is to increase the exchanges of art and culture and to encourage young students in developing their individual creativity. And on the surface, that sounds like a fantastic initiative, right?
All right, so with that mission of creativity fresh in our minds, what's the actual challenge? What are these 600,000 young artists actually being asked to create?
And the themes are, well, they're really contemporary and very rooted in a national context. The kids can choose from My Digital Life, Indian space missions, or Swachh Bharat, which you might know as the huge Clean India mission. These are pretty big, really relevant ideas for young minds to grapple with.
Okay, now let's get into the nitty-gritty of the application form itself. Because honestly, this is where things get really interesting. The details here, they show that this contest is about a whole lot more than just making art.
Right away, the first thing that jumps out is that you're not just submitting a drawing. No, the application requires a surprisingly detailed profile of every single young artist.
And this table just lays it all out, perfectly illustrating the data-driven heart of this competition. They're asking for a phone number. Why? Well, for tele-interviews in case of a tie. They're asking for marks from the previous class to measure academic performance. They even want to know your rank in previous EHF Olympiads. So think about it. They're not just collecting artwork here. They are building incredibly detailed profiles of high-achieving students.
So when you start connecting all these dots, you've got the massive scale, the creative mission, and then this super detailed data collection. A really clear system starts to come into focus.
This is basically the anatomy of the whole operation. Step 1, you start with a massive scale, reaching hundreds of thousands of students. Step 2, you give them a creative prompt with these specific, relevant themes. Then, Step 3, the detailed application collects all this key performance and contact data. And what does it all lead to? Step 4, intense competitive scrutiny, right down to tiebreakers. It's basically a machine that perfectly merges artistic expression with a highly structured, data-driven competition.
And all of this brings us to one final, really crucial question. Look, on one hand, this system provides a massive platform for young artists, and that's a great thing. But it makes you wonder, what happens when creativity gets channeled through a competitive framework that's on this scale with this much detail? What does it all mean for the young student right at the heart of it all?